They say regret is the most expensive emotion, and nothing stings more than watching the price of Bitcoin go from $400 in 2016 to over $100,000 today, and realizing you didn't buy it. But what if I told you there's no need to chase Bitcoin anymore? Because hiding in your old drawer, your loose change jar, maybe even inside your car's cup holder, could be a small, scratched up, worn out $quarter. That's worth more than 100 Bitcoins. Yes, you heard that right. Over $10 million. And I'm going to show you 5 of them. If you have just one of these ultra rare, worn down quarters, you're sitting on a gold mine so big it'll make crypto traders jealous. So before you spend that dusty quarter at the gas station, watch this video till the end. One of these forgotten coins could change your life. And if you're even a little curious about what rare coins could be hiding in your home, go ahead and subscribe so you never miss another treasure like this again. Now look closely. This is a 1968 Washington quarter. And yes, it's extremely worn out. We're talking about a coin that looks like it's been through 100 pockets, 2 world wars, and maybe even the laundry one too many times. The surface is heavily abraded, so much so that George Washington's face is barely visible. His features are almost smoothed away like river rock, but wait. That's where things start getting interesting. You see, in numismatics, this level of wear isn't always a deal breaker. Sometimes it's a doorway to a hidden jackpot. This particular coin is missing something. Take a closer look. It clearly shows the year, 1968, but where's the mint mark? Now, here's the mind-blowing twist. In 1968, quarters were minted in Boston, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. But here's the catch. The San Francisco Mint was primarily producing proof coins at the time, high-quality coins not meant for circulation. Proofs were struck in very small numbers with extreme care, mirror-like finishes, and detail so sharp you could see the reflection in George Washington's forehead. But somehow, just somehow, a few of these San Francisco proof quarters escaped into circulation. And when a proof coin like this gets worn down from decades of use, it becomes what collectors call a rogue survivor. These are the rebels of the coin world, rare, unexpected, and extremely valuable. So how do we know this isn't just an ordinary quarter? Because coin experts and graders have authenticated worn-down proof coins from 1968, and even in this beat-up state, they've sold for prices that'll knock your socks off. In early 2023, one heavily circulated 1968 ERS Washington quarter, originally a top proof strike, sold for over $310,000 at auction. The key? It had just enough detail left to confirm it came from a proof die, but was somehow released to the public and used like pocket change for decades. Now imagine this, someone had this exact kind of coin in their collection for 30 years, probably thinking it was worthless. It was tarnished, dull, and barely readable, but when they sent it in to be appraised, the room went silent. What they thought was a junk quarter turned out to be, one of only a handful known to exist. That's how legends are born in the coin world, and the 1968 quarter in your hand may look like it's been through everything, but its wide battle scars tell a story that collectors are desperate to own, even with the Liberty text and "In God We Trust." Barely legible, even with the scratches, pitting, and discoloration, but it might just be that rebel-proof quarter, one with history, mystery, at an insane value. So if you're staring at a coin that looks like this, don't spend it, don't clean it, don't toss it, get it authenticated, because this rough-looking survivor might just be worth more than 100 Bitcoins. And we're only getting started. Next up, we've got another quarter coming your way, and trust me, it might look even worse than this one, but its value will absolutely blow you away. And if you're still here with me and enjoying this treasure hunt, go ahead and subscribe right now, because the next coin might just be the one you already own. Now, if you thought the last coin was wild, wait until you see this one, because what I'm about to tell you has flipped the entire coin collecting world upside down. Next up in our worn-out treasure hunt, the 1983 P. Washington quarter totes. And this one isn't just rare, it's dangerous. Dangerous because, most people throw it away without knowing it could be worth more than a fully loaded Tesla. Let's talk about what you're seeing here. A surface so worn it looks like it survived a hurricane. The face, flat, the rims almost gone. It's a coin that screams, "I've lived through decades of pockets, pavements, and parking meters." But here's where it gets crazy. In 1982 and 1983, the U.S. Mint was facing a coin shortage. They pumped out quarters like mad, but they didn't produce mint sets for collectors that year. That means virtually every single 1983 quarter that exists was circulated. Touched, used, worn down, no clean backups, no pristine copies in storage, just war veterans like this one. And now, because of that one decision of finding a 1983p quarter in uncirculated or even semi-decent shape has become almost impossible. Let me drop a shocker on you. A well-preserved 1983p quarter once sold for over $15,000 at auction. And that wasn't even a silver coin, just your average clad quarter, but in unusually pristine condition. But wait, the Bitcoin moment comes right here, because some of these 1983p quarters were struck on planches that were too thin or had defects, and others were discovered with off-center strikes, double DSOs, and the most infamous missing clad layer errors. Imagine a coin that looks like copper on one side and silver on the other, a visual glitch in the matrix. Now picture this, one such 1983p with a missing clad layer, which was fully authenticated and in decent shape, sold for over $30,000. But that was years ago. Today, with collector demand higher than ever, especially among modern error hunters, rare varieties of the 1983p are being valued at over $325,000 or in high-end circles. And that's not speculation, that's real money changing hands for coins most people wouldn't bend over to pick up. Why? Because there's no backup supply. No mint sets, no untouched coins, just battle-worn survivors like the one you're looking at now. This coin is the definition of an underdog. It's like the early days of Bitcoin when it was trading at $10 and people laughed. But if you had held on to it, you'd be a millionaire by now. This quarter, right here, is that same kind of play. The kind of coin you forget in your glove box, only to find out later it could pay off your entire mortgage. So don't blink. Don't assume that dirty, dented quarter in your palm could be the top Bitcoin of American pocket change. And no one's talking about it, but we are. And if you think that was intense, wait until you see the next coin. It might just break the six-figure barrier in the first 10 seconds. Stay with us. We're only getting started. Let's look at this thing. It's tired. The detail's worn like a washed-out photo. The Liberty up top is soft. The jawline nearly erased. It looks like it's been through 100 pockets and maybe even the laundry machine once or twice, but that's what makes it perfect. You see, 1974 is a great sleeper year. No one talks about it. It doesn't have a silver composition. It's post-1964, so it's not expected to be worth much. That's the trap. But deep in the numismatic underground, there's a whisper. The kind that's made some collectors rich and left others full of regret. Because in 1974, the U.S. Mint was preparing to strike quarters in aluminum. Yes, aluminum. As part of a secret experiment to cut down production costs. Most of these test coins were supposed to be destroyed. But not all of them were. That's where it gets wild. A Mine 74 aluminum quarter prototype was confirmed to exist. And guess what? If one were to show up in circulation today, especially in worn condition like this one, it might go undetected for decades. And the kicker? That single aluminum 1974 quarter has been estimated at over $250,000 in value, possibly more. It's literally the ghost coin of American coinage. Even standard 1974 quarters with mint errors like double dies, especially around the motto, "In God We Trust." Off-center strikes, clipped planches, broad strikes with warped rims, are now selling for $500 to $5,000, depending on the error, and collectors are gobbling them up like they're going out of print. But here's the punch-in-the-gut moment. Most people, including seasoned collectors, have already thrown these quarters away. They've spent them at the gas station. They've used them at laundromats. They've ignored them because it's just a 1974. But the smartest collectors know the best traps are the ones you never see coming. And this beat-up, worn-down, nearly forgotten 1974 quarter? It might just be the Bitcoin of mistake money, hiding in plain sight, worth a fortune, but If you know what to look for, stick around. The next coin is going to blow this one out of the water, because what comes next, it's proof that trash can turn into treasure, and some coins aren't just rare, they're priceless. Next up, we have a coin that may look ordinary at first glance, but don't be fooled. The 1988 Washington quarter in circulated condition and can be a silent powerhouse in the world of numismatics. At first sight, it might remind you of any change you've handed over for a coffee or found under the couch cushions, but under certain circumstances, this 25-cent piece can turn into a life-changing asset. Sounds unbelievable? Let's dig deeper. And yes, don't forget, we're using the same strategy people used when Bitcoin was dirt cheap. Buy low, hold, and watch the value skyrocket. So what makes this 1988 quarter so special? And to begin with, 1988 was a year that didn't include any silver quarters in regular circulation, as these were base metal clad coins and copper core sandwiched between two layers of nickel. But here's the twist: the U.S. Mint was struggling with quality control during the late 1980s. That led to several rare and valuable errors, including off-center strikes, double dies, and even a rare Walmart transition error, where a planche from a different coin was accidentally used. If you're holding on to a 1988 quarter and it just feels a bit off, thicker, heavier, or with different reading on the edge, you may want to take a much closer look. Now let's talk condition. A circulated 1988 quarter in average condition is worth face value, 25 cents. But even in circulated condition, if your coin has certain features, such as a strong die clash, missing letters, or doubling in the words "In God We Trust" or "Liberty," its value could rise quickly. Some of these coins, when authenticated and graded, have sold for over 1,500 taels in just decent circulated shape. Move up a level, and we're talking about coins in circulated mint state condition, with no wear and full original luster. These are the ones grading MS65 or higher. For a 1988 quarter with a P or D mint mark in MS condition, values easily hit about $3,000 to $8,000, depending on the sharpness of the strike and preservation. But remember, error coins, that's where the rocket fuel kicks in. And now, y'all, comes the shocking part. A 1988 quarter with a dramatic double die error and retained strike through was recently auctioned for a jaw-dropping $127,000. That's right, $127,000 for a coin you might mistake as junk change. These extreme errors are usually the result of rushed production or mishandling at the mint, and because they weren't caught in time, they made it into circulation. Only a handful are believed to exist. Just like Bitcoin in 2009, these coins can seem invisible to the average person, but for those who are paying attention, but for those of us willing to dig a little deeper, there's gold in that pocket change. Collectors today aren't just looking at the obvious rarities, they're hunting for overlooked gems like this 1988 quarter. So before you hand over your next quarter at the gas station or vending machine, stop and look. You just might be giving away something worth tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. And finally, we have the 1966 Washington quarter, in extremely worn-out condition. Now, at first glance, this coin might seem like nothing special. It's scratched, dull, possibly discolored, and missing most of its original detail. But you might even think it's junk, something only good for a vending machine or maybe as a lucky pocket piece. But don't be too quick to toss it aside, because this exact type of ugly duckling coin has surprised collectors before. Let's go back in time for a second. The year is 2006. Just 1 year after the U.S. Mint made a major change in 1965, silver was officially removed from quarters and replaced with a copper-nickel clad composition. That meant 1966 quarters were not made of silver. They were part of this new era, but in the chaos of transition, mistakes happened. A few 1966 quarters were accidentally struck on silver planches left over from 1964. That means if your worn-out 1966 quarter happens to weigh about 6.25 grams instead of the standard 5.67 grams, you may be holding a silver quarter that could be worth thousands. Even in worn-out condition, a genuine silver 1966 era quarter can sell for $3,000 to $9,000. Depending on conformation and grade, and it doesn't have to look pretty, it just has to be rare. There's more. Another known 1966 error is the wrong planche error, where quarters were struck on dime or foreign coin blanks. These are extremely rare. And in any conditions, even if they're scratched, bent, or corroded, they can still go for both $2,000 or more at auction. And here's something even more mind-blowing. A 1966 quarter with a triple strike error, off-center design, and retained cud sold for nearly $85,000 in a major coin auction. That coin was also in circulated shape. It wasn't perfect. It had scars, rim nicks, even environmental damage, but because the error was dramatic and authenticated, its value skyrocketed. So what should you do if you have a 1966 quarter that's extremely worn out? First, weigh it, preferably on a digital gram scale. If it's heavier than usual, get it checked out. Next, examine it closely under magnification. Look for signs of doubling, off-center strikes, unusual planchet texture, or even partial reading. Even in poor condition, these features just can add thousands of dollars to your coin's value. Collectors are fascinated by error coins and transitional mistakes, and the 1966 quarter, despite being common, sits at the heart of one of the most chaotic and error-prone periods in U.S. coin minting history. So don't judge a coin by its shine. That extremely worn 1966 quarter in your change jar might look worthless until a collector sees its true value.